So you want to play Omni-Man in Mortal Kombat 1, but you're not sure which Kameo fighter to pick. Today, we will be checking out each Kameo and seeing which ones complement Omni-Man's playstyle and moveset the most. This will be a great starting point for anyone new to the game or new to the character of Omni-Man. I'll leave the timestamps in the description if you want to jump to a specific character, but let's just get right into it. So our first Kameo up is going to be Darrius, and honestly, I love starting Darrius in these videos because the combos are just so much fun. But the first move we have is actually going to be the spin kicks, and I played against an Omni-Man Darrius, and they use this move to start every single round, and it hit me every single time. It actually works really nicely because Omni-Man's range isn't the best, so to have this move where you just kind of throw it out there, and honestly 12%, really good to be able to be dangerous right at this point. Now your opponent has to think about this as well. Then we have the double overhead. I do like the double overhead. It works a little bit better with other characters, but if you can call it out and it hits, you knock them down, and we can go low overhead combo. This forward 3 is a low, so doing the flip kick, holding it, and then mixing in the overhead, we can get some combos going like that. But the most important move is going to be the tornado kick. It does take up the entire Kameo bar, so it's more than likely you're only going to be using this move. But with tornado kick, this is where all the combos start. So something really simple in the mid screen could look something like this. Then you can go into your full string. 31%. If we use a bar of meter, we can actually get a little bit more damage out of that. So we go 2-1-2, 2-1-2, and then 1-2, 1 plus 3. 33%. Mid-screen, 1 bar, not too bad at all. Another really cool thing about Tornado Kick is we can use it after Viltrumite stance too. So you can use it here. You do get knocked down, but you get to use the chest. So a really cool combo here is something like this. We'll go into Viltrumite stance. You do jump 3, get the Viltrumite stance, call in Darrius, and then big body, 37% for 1 bar in the mid-screen. Not bad at all, man. We love that. And then, of course, in the corner, we can bring in our boy Darrius for more combos. This will also keep us on the same side if we use the bar of meter. But hey, 33%, and to keep the corner pressure, not bad at all. But overall, Darrius is a lot of fun, especially with Omni-Man. If you like creative combos and kind of finding really crazy routes to do combos, Darrius is definitely the one for you. Our next Kameo up is everyone's favorite. We have Sareena, and this was actually my day 1 pick. As soon as Omni-Man dropped, I was running Sareena, and that's just because the combos are just way too easy. So something really simple, we can just go into very easy hit confirms and get the full combo here. We can also pop up, and I mean, dude, the combos just keep on going, and you get some really good damage too. And this is no meter, 38%. No meter. That's why everyone loves Sareena so much. And now if we decide to use a bar of meter, again, you really don't have to at all. That 38% is absolutely crazy. But again, we can use that bar of meter. So we'll pop them up. The combos just go on forever. We'll go 2-1-2, dash, 2-1-2, meter, 1-2, 1 plus 3, 390, just under 40%. For a mid-screen 1 bar of meter. Absolutely crazy. Sareena also has this forward projectile, which I like a lot. It's high 6%. And one thing about Omni-Man, he doesn't really have any projectiles. He has a thunderclap, which you got to burn a bar of meter for. And it also does not go full screen. So to have a full screen projectile, especially with Omni-Man, that's really good. Just kind of check your opponent like that. 6%. And Sareena recharges really, really fast. So you don't even really have to worry about it. Then we have Sareena's reversal. You're starting to see people use reversals in their opponent's strings a lot more now, which is actually really awesome. And she does have a really good one. So just keep in mind that that's there. And then last but not least, we have her curse, which drains your opponent meter. So something really simple. Pretty much any time you drop your opponent down after the 1-2, 1 plus 3, just bring in Sareena. They're going to be stuck on it. And then you kind of get more pressure. Also, of course, in the corner, if you notice you open your opponent up, you can do a lot of damage as well. I mean, look at that meter just drain after the Viltrumite stance when he's dragging their head through. When he's dragging their head on the ground after the Viltrumite stance, if you call in Sareena, look at that. All their meter is just gone. It's absolutely insane. Don't sleep on Sareena's curse. It's so good, especially just holding them in the corner like this. All that meter is gone. So Sareena, always an amazing pick, no matter what. Next up, we have Cyrax. And what's crazy is this is the first Kameo video that I'm making where I'm not the one saying, pick Cyrax. Like, one little nerf. But anyway, Cyrax pairs really well with Omni-Man for a couple of different reasons. First up, nice and easy, we do have the net. Again, if this does catch, you have so much time to just go into your combos. It is going to scale your damage, but hey, having a full screen projectile, if it hits, I mean, okay, I say scale your damage. We're still getting 31% off a full screen random net hitting, which is awesome. And next up, we do have self-destruct. I haven't seen anybody using this move, but hey, if you can get it to work, it is a pop-up. And Omni-Man does love being up in the air to do those combos. So good luck. If you can hit it, hit it. If not, no worries. And then we have the real bread and butter of Cyrax. We have the horizontal copter chopper, which now takes up his entire Kameo bar. But you can use it in strings if you want to just extend a little bit of damage, get about 15 there. Or, of course, on block strings, we can use it as well. Get our opponent back, chip him out. Really not the best move anymore just because it does take up that whole bar of Kameo, but it is there if you need to use it. And we have the main bread and butter move of Cyrax. The regular copter chopper does not take up the whole Kameo bar, thankfully. But Cyrax does bring some pretty cool combos, especially in the mid-screen. If we go Viltrumite stance, you call it in, and he'll kind of help you out in your combo. A little bit extra damage, 33%, no meter, and half a Cyrax Kameo. Not bad there at all. But of course, if we're in the corner, Cyrax kind of excels with these combos. I mean, we don't even have to do anything crazy. 28%, and we keep corner pressure. Also in the corner with Copter Chopper, you can extend off your 2-2-2, which is just such a good string. It has an overhead in the middle. So you can do something like a jump in, which is an overhead, another overhead in the string, and then 2-1-2, 2-1-2 dash. And just like that, 33% lost the corner, but still really good damage. And we got to use Cyrax for a cool combo. But now my favorite part of Cyrax is you can actually get a full combo off forward throw. It does take 2 bars a meter, but you can still get some crazy damage on a forward throw. And the thing about Omni-Man is everybody's always blocking. When you're playing Omni-Man, you're just going to see this the whole time. Like, people are just constantly going to be blocking everything you try to do. So you can get a full combo off a throw that's always there. So 2-1-2. 2-1-2. That's going to burn 3 bars a meter, so you got to be careful. But 25% on a forward throw, it does cost 3 bars. But maybe if your opponent's under 25% and you really just want to close that game out, you could do this full combo, burn everything you got. 25%. You don't need the meter if the game's done. Really good there. Now, if you don't want to use all 3 bars a meter, just a really simple combo here is going to get you about 23% on a forward throw, which is pretty much always going to be there. So Cyrax is really good, man. It's really all about the throw, I think, especially with Omni-Man. But I mean, Cyrax, even if they nerf him again, always going to be a good character. So our next cameo up is going to be Kano, who actually brings some utility to Omni-Man that I like a lot. Our first move up is the eye laser. Does about 9% damage. Full screen. It's all highs, but again, I was saying it before, to have a projectile with Omni-Man is really clutch just because he doesn't have any. So being able to use this full screen, kind of throw it out there, really good. Then we have Kano Ball, which has so much utility to it. As you can see, we can hold and delay it. But the reason I like Kano Ball so much is it kind of covers us to be able to do crazy stuff at full screen like that. So for example, I set my opponent to block, and this is super minus. You're going to get absolutely blown up if you try to do Superman Punch. But if we're at about full screen, we can bring in Kano Ball, delay it, and just go for it. And that'll keep us relatively safe, or depending on timing, if your opponent tries to punish you, they'll get hit by the Kano Ball. So it's just a really good way to keep you covered at full screen. We could do even something like that. We don't have to jump. We could do something on the ground and just let the Kano Ball rip. Again, either going to hit your opponent if they try to punish or keep you relatively safe, just as long as your timing is good. We could also use this while we're just doing our normal strings, let it rip, and we could go again. Gives us some good frames. Maybe it knocks our opponent back. Bring Kano in, especially in the corner. Omni-Man is all about this up-close pressure. So to bring in Kano and just kind of hold it, have him there for your pressure. We could do whatever we want. Keep it going. Go into throw here. Get some good damage. From here, we can just bring in Kano Ball. We can go for it. Like Kano Ball rip, we're safe. A lot of really good options off Kano Ball. You just got to get used to using it. Again, much more utility-based, not crazy combo-based. I also really like Kano Ball to keep me covered for forward 2. So if our opponent's blocking, we can go Kano Ball forward 2. And then the Kano Ball keeps us nice and safe, or the forward 2 hits, really just doesn't matter. And his Kano knives also kind of work the same as Kano Ball. So at full screen, we can call in Kano knives, go for the Superman Punch. If our opponent tries to punish, they're going to get hit by the knives, or the knives are going to keep us relatively safe. I really like the Kano knives a lot. Again, more utility based for block pressure to help us get in there. We can also do Kano while we're in Viltrumite stance. We can go Viltrumite, Kano, just like that. That'll keep us safe, and it'll stop our opponent. Usually it'll stop your opponent from up blocking, and you just get more chip, more damage, more pressure. Really good there. But we could do some cool combos with Kano as well. We'll do Viltrumite stance. Right before he throws them, we could bring in the knives, and that'll extend our combo, which is also really nice. So before I was saying how the knives are good for block, but if your Superman actually hits, you can actually continue your combos off a full screen Superman Punch into some easy 30+%. Again, it's really all about timing with everything and what hits and what doesn't. But once you get it down with Kano, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with, because it's just always going to be your turn off Kano Ball. There's always going to be something your opponent has to deal with. And if things hit, you get to go with your combos. So many options from Kano. Again, not insane combos, much more utility and block pressure. Our next cameo up is going to be Sonya, who brings some really fun combos to Omni-Man, who's already got some fun combos. And that's all, of course, because of Square Wave, one of my favorite moves for cameos in the game. And for someone like Omni-Man, who's just always punching his opponents in the air, you really just can't go wrong at all with the Square Wave. So something really simple, just a nice bread and butter combo here with Sonya and Omni-Man. We'll use 1 bar of meter as well, and we can get about 35% in the mid-screen. If we don't use a bar of meter, I think we can get something like 32%. Just about, yeah, 32.5. Awesome. Mid-screen, no meter at all. But what's really cool about Sonya is you could actually do some combos through Viltrumite stance. So we could do this into 1-2, Sonya. And then get the full string there for 39%. 1 bar in the mid-screen. And again, someone like Omni-Man, it's tough to get that 40%. So to have Sonya and get 39.7, it's so close. But hey, I will definitely take that. If I use 2 bars a meter... Oh, no, you can't even use 2 bars a meter. All right, yeah, 39 looks like the max for that string. But still really good. We also have some cool corner stuff that we could do. Nice and simple. Keep them in the corner. That's 25%, and that's just like the easiest bread and butter combo. Or if we start doing some more air-related stuff... And then we get to keep the corner here for that 34%. Basically the same combo as the mid-screen. Also, off forward 3, we can get a full combo. If you catch your opponent with a down 2 in the corner, you can actually extend. And we'll take that corner right back for 30% off a down 2. So there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with Square Wave. It's all just about having fun and getting creative in your combos. And then next for Sonya, we do have a projectile. I've been talking all day about how good projectiles are with Omni-Man. We could use a quick one that's about 6% damage and a high. Or you could charge it. It takes up her whole bar, but it turns into a mid 9% projectile at full screen. Really good. But just having this is so nice, man. Getting onion rings while you're playing as Omni-Man, you can't go wrong with that. And then finally, we do have leg grab combo extender. So we could do something like 1-2 leg grab into Viltrumite stance. I think we could use Sonya again here, if I'm not mistaken. 1-2 Sonya. Yep. And then 1-2. 35% mid-screen using all of Sonya, but no meter, which is awesome. I don't think leg grab works on 2-2. Yeah, leg grab does not work on 2-2. But if you just stick to the 1-2, nice easy punish, you go 1-2 leg grab. And then you can kind of keep your combo going like this. We don't have to use both bars of Sonya. We can just do 2-1-2, 1-2, 1+3. Get that 32% in the mid-screen. A lot of options, really whatever you want to do. Sonya is a great pick. Those combos with Square Wave get so much fun, and you can get so creative, which I love. Our next cameo up is Sektor, who just pairs so nicely with every single character in the game, but especially Omni-Man. And first up, we do have the up rocket, and this is why Sektor is just so good with every character, because this up rocket, just such a good pressure tool, always there. Your opponent always has to worry about it. It can interrupt them. It can extend your strings. It can keep you safe. Literally everything in the book that up rocket does. But what I like to do is I'll go Viltrumite stance, and anytime ending my combo, it's usually 1-2, 1+3. Always call in the rocket, and you get massive pressure after that. So again, just bring them up. Do your 1-2, 1+3. Bring in Sektor, and now they got to deal with the rocket, the pressure. Whatever it is they try to do on Wake Up, they're going to have to deal with the rocket. So again, bring it in again. It hits. We can go into more combos. I mean, it just goes on forever. It's absolutely awesome. But we can actually use the rocket in combos too if you want to get a little bit more damage, which is absolutely awesome. You got to get the timing down, but just like that, it'll hit them in the air and extend your damage. That's 35% pretty much, no meter. So calling in the up rocket in neutral is good. Calling it in when you end your string with Viltrumite stance is really good. And calling it in during your combos to get even more damage is just absolutely crazy. It works in every situation. And next we have Sektor's teleport punch, which is a combo extender. Does not work on 2-2, just so you guys know. But if you get a nice 1-2, easy hit confirms. And I mean, we can just go right into our string like that. It's so simple, man. 30%, nice and easy. Just off a 1-2 in the mid-screen. If we don't want to use meter, we can still do it. 2-1-2, 1-2, 1+3. We're still getting a very nice 28% in the mid-screen. Just off a simple 1-2 hit confirm. Finally, we do have Sektor's flamethrower, which is a restand, which is absolutely awesome. So for example, if we do something that pops our opponent up, we can go restand, boom, right into the forward 2, get that restand pressure. Tons of options off the restand. We could also end our strings with restand. And now we can go into forward 2. But something super random we could do is we can actually get a combo in the corner off Thunderclap. So if you call it in, you time it right, you go Thunderclap, you can actually extend a combo and get 23%. Super specific, but hey, it's there. It is definitely there if you want to use it. The up rocket, though, I mean, it's your best friend. It really will be. No matter what character you're using, up rocket's going to be your best friend, especially with Omni-Man. Our next cameo up is going to be Frost. I mean, you really just can never go wrong with Frost. It's any character in the game. But she actually has some pretty cool stuff with Omni-Man. So the first up, obviously, we have Ice Carpet, the combo extender. Really simple. Just 2-2 combo extender. I think we get about 30 with something as simple as this. I'm going to go no meter here. 2-1-2. 1-2, 1+3. Yeah, 32% in the mid-screen, no meter. Standard, really good. Just off a nice, easy hit confirm on 2-2. Also, Ice Carpet's a low. And this 2-2 string, the second hit's an overhead. So, I mean, you could do something like this. You might catch a lot of people with that, actually. And you can still get some really good damage. Let's go 2-1-2, 1-2, 1+3. Really nice. 31% off an overhead low mix. Not saying it's the best mix-up in the world, but it works. Then off forward 3, it works as well. And we can go full Viltrumite stance combo like that. Also, it's basically a full screen projectile, and you have plenty of time to dash all the way up and get your full combo. So that's a full screen low. That's going to lead us into about 30% damage. I am okay with that. That definitely makes me happy for sure. The next Frost move is going to be Ice Crash. Now, not a lot of people are using this. You rarely ever see it. I think the only time you see it is if someone accidentally tries to go Ice Carpet, but doesn't hit forward and they hit the Ice Crash on accident. But there's actually a very specific piece of tech we can do with Ice Crash in the corner. So what we do is forward 3 Ice Crash. If it hits, we get full combo. We can go into Viltrumite stance if we want to. 1 bar of meter there, 35% on a low Ice Crash. Really nice. So on hit, we get 35%, and on block, forward 3 is actually minus 11, so you can get punished. You don't see a lot of people punishing it right now, but it is punishable. But if we go forward 3 Ice Crash, we are now plus 4. So on block, forward 3 Ice Crash, we could definitely sneak a down 1 in there, take our turn back, keep the pressure on. So on block, we get more pressure, and on hit, we get full combo, which is just insane. So that corner tech right there with Frost, it's really specific, like I said, but man, it is just so good. And then finally, we have Frost's Orb, which is just a nice projectile on screen if your opponent gets hit by it. They get frozen and open up for a full combo. Really nice there. It really is just something else your opponent has to deal with on screen. We can do something like this, and then that'll combo. I mean, keep them in the corner and get 33%. So throwing the orb out there is always a good decision. Dude, Frost is just so good, man. She just has utility everywhere on screen at all times. But man, this forward 3 Ice Crash setup is just so good. There's so much you could do with it. And the fact that it works on block or on hit doesn't matter. You're still gaining something from it. Our next cameo up is going to be Jax, who I've been loving to use with Omni-Man. The combos are just so much fun. First up, we have the backbreaker, so it's something nice and simple. We can go right into backbreaker here, Viltrumite stance, and then get our full combo string here. Again, mid-screen, no meter at all, 34%. You can't beat that. But you can use Jax's backbreaker pretty much anywhere. I mean, get creative, use it wherever works for you. After he yeets them, we can get a full combo right there, 290, not bad. But where backbreaker is really cool, we could do something like this. So Viltrumite stance actually switches sides. So if you go backbreaker, we go forward 2, we still have corner pressure. It's not the most damage, but if you accidentally go into like Viltrumite stance just due to like muscle memory, and you're like, oh, I didn't want to give up the corner, you can go Jax, forward 2, you get the corner right back. Again, not the most damage, but your muscle memory messes you up, you still get the corner. But it really is just all about those nice and simple bread and butter combos. You go 2-1-2, 2-1-2. 1-2-1 plus 3, 33%, and we keep the corner as well. Jax also has his reversal tool, which is the energy wave. Again, you're starting to see people use reversals a little bit more during your opponent's strings and stuff like that. It's nice and safe, so it's definitely an option to use. It's always there for you. And finally, we have Jax's unblockable ground pound. You can get really, really nasty with some setups with this one. So if we go Viltrumite stance, and we end with 1-2-1 plus 3, which we always do, bring in Jax. Now they got to deal with this on Wake Up. And finally, we were talking about it before with Cyrax, where your opponent is just always going to be blocking when you're playing as Omni-Man. You're going to be dealing with this all day. So one thing I like about Jax is you can actually meter burn his throw twice. Takes 2 bars of meter, but you can get 21%. So if your opponent has under 21% health and they're really just blocking everything, you cannot find an answer, but you have all this meter, you can just burn all of it, get that 21%, close out the game, close out the round. So I really like Jax, man. The combos are a lot of fun. The throws are great. Unblockable ground pound setups are just so good with Omni-Man. Really good choice here. Our next cameo up is going to be Stryker, who I've actually been seeing a lot of Omni-Man players use, and for good reason. Stryker is absolutely insane. First move up is going to be the low, which drops your opponent down, and Omni-Man's pretty much main string does have an overhead in the middle of it. So we can do something like 2 into low, just to get that knockdown pressure. You can do overhead low to make your opponent really have to just focus and think during your strings. And on the flip side of that, he also has his overhead. So you can do something like 2-2, which is a double overhead, especially if you've been conditioning the low mix-up. You could do something like overhead. Again, just really causing your opponent to have to think during all of your combo strings. Are they blocking low or overhead? Get that knockdown pressure and keep it going. But my favorite part about Stryker for Omni-Man is the grenade throw. So of course you can just throw the grenades out in neutral. They keep you nice and safe. They check your opponent. They got to deal with it. They can't really press buttons. So if your opponent's just blocking everything, we can bring the grenades in. If they try to punish you or even just press a button, they're going to get hit by the grenade. You can use it on block string. Really good. But what I really like about the grenades is you can actually use them in combos. So go Viltrumite stance. He's going to yeet them. And we can get some extended damage there. No meter, 35% with the grenades in the middle to make it look even that much cooler. And if we decide to burn a bar of meter, so we go Viltrumite, he's going to yeet them. We go grenades, 2-1-2 meter. And again, just getting close to that 40% that we really want to get to. Having these grenades is just so good, man. You can call them out in neutral from back here. If it hits your opponent, you get a combo. If your opponent blocks, we can still go for it, and it'll kind of keep you relatively safe depending on timing and what your opponent tries to do. So just always calling out these grenades to make your opponent have to deal with something is really good. And then last but not least, he does have a restand, which is cuffed. And we can go something to forward 2 just like that. Cuffed is really good. I'm not seeing a lot of people use it. So tons of utility here from Stryker. We got mix-up. We got projectiles. We have a restand. There's a lot of things you can do. Just the more you play Stryker, the more you'll kind of get a hang of when to use them and how to use them. But it's really all about those grenades, man. That pressure from the grenades is crazy. Our next cameo up is going to be Scorpion. And this is actually my main cameo when using Omni-Man for the most part. Scorpion just pairs so nicely. So first and foremost, we have Hellfire, which is our air combo extender. You can do something as simple as this. More damage, extend the string. This is mid-screen 30%. If we want to go mid-screen with 1 bar of meter, all this is really easy to hit confirm. 1, 2, 1 plus 3. And we get that 31%. Not bad in the mid-screen at all. We can also do some really cool looking combos. So we can go Viltrumite stance. And if you do Viltrumite stance 1, 2, you go far Scorpion. You actually get to extend there. 1, 2, 1 plus 3. And that's 37% for 1 bar of meter. Absolutely insane. And the next move up is actually going to be the overhead combo extender. I absolutely love using this. First off, it's really easy to just extend your strings off 1, 2. Sometimes your brain is moving way too fast and you forget to go into Viltrumite stance. So it's just a really easy way to just confirm and then go into your full combo. We can actually use Scorpion twice right here. We go 1, 2, bar. 1, 2, 1 plus 3. That was no meter. 35% for the entire Scorpion bar. Really cool. Off a simple 1, 2 as well. Another thing I really like about this is that it's an overhead, and this forward 3 is a low. So we can start low, go overhead, and then you get full combo. And again, we'll use Scorpion twice just because the combos look so good. Scorpion, and then 1, 2, 1 plus 3. 35%. So solid, man. So solid. I love using this. Also, it's got some nice range to it. So when you're about here, you can actually hit your opponent with an overhead. So most people aren't really too worried about Omni-Man at this range. He has a forward 4, but still that doesn't reach. But if you're right here, you can actually just call this out, and you're getting your full combo just like that. This is not safe, but I love to just call this out. Tends to catch people. I wasn't going to talk about this too much, but if you do Viltrumite stance, and then do this move right here. A lot of people, when you go into Viltrumite, they're actually going to up block because they can full punish. So what you can do is Viltrumite, bait that you're going for the 3, but instead you go here. They're going to be up blocking, and you catch them every single time. That's super specific, but man, it works like a charm. Especially if you're like conditioning your opponent. Once you start to notice them up blocking your Viltrumite stance, you just peek over here, and boom. Now we got full combo. So I absolutely love using Scorpion. The Hellfire just comes in so clutch anywhere you are on screen during any combos at all. You could always bring in Hellfire. And then finally, we have the Get Away From Me. I don't use this too much, but it is an option there. If you want to go full screen and then get crazy. If you're up close, you don't want to be here anymore, you can get pulled away. You do have a hit of armor. And then we can go into combos like that. But I love using Scorpion, man. Scorpion, the combos are super satisfying. Good damage too. And a little bit of mix-up on overheads and lows. Our next cameo up is going to be Sub-Zero. And honestly, a really straightforward cameo. Not too much to it, but still really good. First up, the throw. Sub-Zero does have the highest damaging forward throw in the game with 13%. And as I was talking about earlier, Omni-Man is always going to be able to throw. Your opponent is always blocking. They never want to get hit by this back 1. So the throw is always there. So to rack up these 13% is really good. And then we also have the Cold Shoulder, which is a get-off-me tool. Also, anytime people use Sub-Zero and start a round with Cold Shoulder, it hits me every time. A really good way to start the round, get that first hit meter, and push your opponent full screen. Now they gotta start dealing with stuff. Then, of course, we have Sub-Zero's Freeze. Really simple. Hit, confirm, combo extender. Go into the freeze. Get some solid damage. It's also really good if you're just learning Omni-Man. Some of the combos can get a little too crazy, but having that freeze to just kind of extend your string is really good. And freeze works on everything. You do 1, 2. You could do 2, 2. You could do forward 3. Freeze is just always going to be there for you. Can't go wrong with freeze. And then finally, we have ice armor, which stops your opponent's projectiles. Now, interestingly enough, Omni-Man kind of has this built in with his Viltrumite stance. So if we set Liu Kang to start ripping projectiles at us, we can actually just go into Viltrumite stance. And as you can see, none of them are going to hit. And then we can actually full punish it, which is really cool. You don't technically need ice armor, but maybe if you want to walk your opponent down, you want to get closer, it's really good. You don't want to just sit back here and Viltrumite the whole time. So you can do something like this, put the freeze on, and that gives you a free Superman punch right on in. So it's actually pretty solid. At first, I was like, he doesn't need it. But to be able to get a full screen Superman punch because the ice armor is so good. It's also going to start pushing him to the corner, which I like a lot. So the freeze actually works. Again, you wouldn't really think you'd need a freeze with Omni-Man because he has so many ways to get in. And he has Viltrumite stance, which goes through projectiles anyway. But if you're really just trying to get in there, you get a full screen Superman punch. So like I said, not too much to Sub-Zero. Very straightforward, but a really good choice. Our next cameo up is going to be Kung Lao, who I think the general consensus is the best cameo in the game overall, as well as the best cameo to use with Omni-Man. And the first move up is going to be Low Hat. Not only is it a fast, quick, low projectile, and having a projectile with Omni-Man is really good, it's also a low. And now Omni-Man has a lot of overheads in his toolkit. So you could do 2 into low. You could do 2-2 into low. If your opponent's blocking all your strings, you can go into hat. It keeps you nice and safe. You might even be able to sneak another down 1 in after your turn. But what I really like low hat for is full screen, because we can hold and delay. So at full screen, we could bring it in. We could go into our Superman punch and the low hat at the same time. That's going to allow us to get in and keep us safe. But even furthermore, we could do low hat, forward 2, which is an overhead. So now, depending on when we let it rip, we can actually just get the overhead and it'll keep us nice and safe. Or we could let the hat rip first, open them up with the low, and then get a nice 14% combo on a low overhead. Also, at full screen, your Superman punch is an overhead. So we can go low hat delay, Superman punch, and now they got to deal with a low overhead at full screen, which could potentially lead into a full combo. So any of these times where you have an overhead, again, forward 2 is an overhead, jump, Superman punch is an overhead, 2-2 is an overhead, jump into is an overhead. So you could do low hat into jump into, 2-2-2. Just so many options, man. Just having low hat there is going to cause your opponent to have to deal with so much. And they're always going to be blocking low, blocking overhead. They're going to have no idea what's going on. Also, we call in low hat and you do your 2-2 string, and that's actually going to open up your opponent depending on your timing. So do 2-2. And that's a same time low overhead mix up. Gonna open your opponent up. If you're really good with it and you know it's gonna catch, you can go right into Viltrum stance, full combo. This low hat is just absolutely insane, man. So as you can see, Kung Lao is blocking high because that 2-2 overhead was coming in, and the low hat just clips them and we can go in a full combo. Next up, we have Kung Lao's spin. Good damage, good combo extender, easy to hit confirm, so something like 2-2. Then we can go into our stance, full combo, and this is mid-screen. No meter, and we're getting 35%. If we use a bar of meter with the spin, we can get even more damage, so let's go for it. Again, just mid-screen, super simple bread and butters. 2-1-2, 1-2, 1+3. 370 in the mid-screen off just a simple 2-2 spin. Absolutely insane. And of course, if we're in the corner, we can use it as well. And we want to keep that corner pressure, so we'll meter burn it. And that's 32% in the corner off a 2-2. Really, really simple. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the teleport. It's decent. Honestly, I do like Omni-Man's version of his teleport way more. You do have to go into Viltrum, but it just looks better. I think it catches your opponent more because there's more they have to deal with from Viltrum stance. But the teleport is there. Maybe you're at full screen. You catch them using a fireball. And now we can go full combo. But it really is just all about this low hat, man. There's just so much that you could do. Mixing up all of his overheads with that low hat, it's just unstoppable, man. It is absolutely unstoppable. Kung Lao is such a good pick. The next cameo up is Shujinko, who we actually skip in these videos because Shujinko's moveset changes based on who your opponent's playing as. So this is kind of a video all on its own. Next cameo up is going to be Motaro. I honestly don't think I've seen a single Omni-Man play with Motaro as their cameo, but there's still some good things we could do with them. First up, we do have the teleport, which is one of the fastest teleports in the game. I also really like it because you could jump in and teleport. So if your opponent tries to anti-air you, you might be able to catch them pressing a button or something like that. Also, what's really cool is you can actually teleport at a Viltrumite stance. So if your opponent thinks something's going to happen, maybe they're up blocking because they're worried about the slam, you can do this, teleport. Maybe they're up blocking, you catch them pressing buttons. Or you go for something like a back throw, maybe. If you catch them up blocking, you get extra like 6% damage or so. A couple of options there, but just start having fun with the teleport. There's a lot that you could do with it. And then next, we do have the Reflect, which you can hold, and Motaro will kind of walk your opponent down. So if we set Liu Kang, as you guys can see, we kind of walk our opponent down. It actually lasts for a long time. But you can also do some cool stuff. While Motaro's doing his thing, you go into Viltrumite stance and get a slam. Motaro's kind of covering all the space. You just hold it. And you can cause a lot of problems with that. I really like the projectile deflect. It works well with every character. And the fact that it deflects and doesn't just absorb is really good. And then we have Motaro's projectiles, which I like, again, because Omni-Man doesn't really have any projectiles. So Motaro does have the low, which is really nice. You can kind of pair that with this overhead right here. Not the most damage, but it's just knockdown pressure. Get a little combo there off an easy mix-up. You can go low here, then go overhead, hit him with another low, and you're just kind of knocking your opponent down. You even combo it off forward 3, so it's a double low, and then you go into your forward 2 overhead. Again, just non-stop pressure. It's not the safest in the world, but still really good pressure nonetheless. And it also hits at a good range. Omni-Man can't really do much right here, except for maybe forward 2. So getting that low shot is really good. And last but not least, tail turret takes up the whole bar of meter, but it is just spamming the screen with 3 projectiles. So really good here to just kind of have this on screen. You go into your Viltrumite, you get nice and close. But again, it does take up Motaro's whole cameo. Like I was saying, nothing crazy has been found yet, as far as I'm aware, with Motaro. Maybe you just really like the character, but still a good pick. I mean, the teleport's awesome, and then having projectiles is always really good. And now, last but certainly not least, we have Goro, who's probably considered one of the best cameos with Omni-Man. And a big part of that is because of Raise the Roof. It's a combo extender. It also keeps you safe on block. Really, really solid. So for starters, if we're at full screen and we've got to get in, we can go with Superman Punch, but obviously that's super minus. But if we go Superman Punch into Raise the Roof, that keeps us nice and safe. And now look where we are. We're right next to our opponent, ready to just keep the pressure on. But on the flip side of that, if your Superman Punch actually hits, you can actually extend your combos. So it works on block, it works on hit. We can get full combo here, 22%, nice and easy from a full screen, but we can actually do way more. So 2-1-2, 2-1-2, 1-2, 1 plus 3. So to be able to have this work pretty much anywhere on screen and giving you a full combo is absolutely insane. And again, like I said, keeps you safe on block, so you get to just go YOLO in from full screen. Also, during any of our strings, we can just call in Raise the Roof. And we can end our string like that with a little 20%, nice and easy, as opposed to a 11%. So getting an extra 9% is really not bad at all. And we just go right into it. Really solid move there. If your opponent is blocking, it's super plus on block, so we can just take our turn right back and keep the pressure going. There's just so much that you could do with Raise the Roof, man. It is one of the best moves in the game. It really is. And then we can do some really basic bread and butter combos. Nice and simple there. Don't have to get too crazy. 28%. On a back 1-1 into Raise the Roof. And then on block, this is going to keep us plus. Whereas back 1-1 just puts us at -7. This is now going to make us plus on block. And we can keep our combo and extension going. And then, of course, we have Dead Weight, which is a combo extender. Nice and simple. You can do Dead Weight. And that'll pop them up. And we can get right into our air combos. Do all that craziness. 32% for 1 bar. Really not bad. But if we want to do something with no meter, we could do forward 4-1 into Viltrumite. This will pop them up. And then we can get our string going here. 1-2-1. 34%. No meter. And just a dead weight throw. Not bad at all, man. We could also do forward 3 into dead weight. And that'll keep the combos going. And then we have Punch Walk. I'm going to be honest. This game's been out for 2 months now almost. And I've never seen Punch Walk once online. So I don't think anybody's going to use it. But it is cool. And then last but not least, we do have the Stomp. So your opponent's got to deal with a lot of things dropping out of the sky if you decide to use Stomp. It uses your whole bar of meter, which is a little bit unfortunate. But hey, having it unblockable, especially when you can do something like this, is really nice.